every fighter has that style that's gonna give him trouble no matter how many times he faces that person that has that certain style. And for Muhammad Ali, that style was Ken Norton style. That person that will always give him trouble was Ken Norton. They could have faced every day of their lives, and I don't think Muhammad Ali would have beaten Ken Norton, would have beaten him clearly. Of course, every Muhammad Ali story has a legend, and the one that Ken Norton says is that when Ali fought Bob Foster, he fought on the undercard. He fought Henry Clark and he knocked him out in the ninth round. But in the after party, Ken Norton claims that, or said that Muhammad Ali went to a bar and he was at the same bar and he was talking to a few women. And Ken Norton comes up and he takes his women away from Muhammad Ali. And Ali yells at him, "I'm gonna get you, sucker." "I'm gonna get you, sucker." And little did they know, a few months after that, March 31st, 1973, in Ken Norton's hometown of San Diego, baby, in the sports arena, they had their first encounter. Now, Ken Norton was 41-1. He was no chump, but the way they were talking about him, the way Howard Cosell presented them, and that's one thing that I realized today. I don't like Howard Cosell. Watching their 3 fights, I do not like him as a journalist. He said this was going to be the biggest mismatches in boxing history. And Ken Norton must have taken offense to that because he fought a beautiful fight, man. He broke Muhammad Ali's jaw. Ali couldn't hit him clean. The only round that I think Ali won clearly was round 3. That was the only round I think Ali won. The rest of the rounds, most of them, I gave to Ken Norton. I only gave Muhammad Ali 4 rounds. And Ali didn't do the post fight. Ken Norton had done sparring for 5 years with Joe Frazier. So I'm sure Joe Frazier must have taught him a little bit on how to beat Muhammad Ali. Those left hooks look like it might have been taught by Joe Frazier. That body attack, that cutting off the ring, Ali, you could tell Ali wasn't as slick and wasn't as fast and wasn't as light on his feet as he was before he was suspended, before he got his license taken away. And I think this was the first fight that you could really tell that his skills were diminishing. Also, the first fight was where Ali put on that People's Choice shirt. I mean, the People's Choice robe that Elvis Presley gave him, who Muhammad Ali was called the People's Champ because Joe Frazier didn't want to give him the rematch at that time. So, and he was big friends with Elvis, and Elvis had a robe made for him, but the stitchers, they got it wrong. They put People's Choice instead of People's Champ, and Ali never wore that robe again. So Ali and Norton had an immediate rematch, and this was another 12-round fight, another tough fight where Ali won, and he won a split decision. And I think a split decision is good for this fight. Either way, I scored this fight a draw, but you saw a lot what you saw in the first fight where Kenny Norton was parrying a lot of Muhammad Ali's shots. He was ducking and weaving, and Ali really wasn't able to hit him clean. But what Ali did more effectively in the second fight was dance. He was able to move around and use his feet, use his legs more effectively. And that's what won him more rounds in the second fight than the first fight. I scored this fight a draw. But the last round where Ali won the last round, I think that won the fight for him. Oh, also one thing I didn't cover in the fight number 1 was how Kenny Norton broke Ali's jaw. Howard Cosell and Angelo Dundee claim that Ken Norton broke Ali's jaw in the first round or the second round. Dundee said the second round, Howard Cosell said the first round. But Kenny Norton claims that he didn't break his jaw until the last round. He says that how they created that myth so that Ali could be viewed as an unstoppable force, someone that had to overcome insurmountable pain. And yes, Ali is as much myth as he is a man. He's as much legend as he is an athlete. And definitely that story adds to his myth, to his legend. And if he broke his jaw in the first round, that definitely adds to how we see Ali as someone that could go through anything, someone that could do anything really and go through anything and still survive. The surgeon that fixed Ali's jaw, that wired it immediately after the first fight, said that he doesn't think that, he said there is no way that Muhammad Ali broke his jaw in the first round because it was just really bad. It was broken like in 4 or 5 places. But surgeons aren't fighters, and only fighters could understand that. And honestly, we will never know if Ali broke his jaw in the first round or in the last round. Ken Norton has his opinions, and Howard Cosell and Angelo Dundee have their own. So we'll never know. I would personally love to believe that he broke his jaw in the first or second round, just because I love to believe in the myth, the legend of Muhammad Ali. But also, I want to believe Ken Norton when he says that they wanted to build that legend, because it makes so much sense as well. So, but yeah, after the second fight, which I scored a draw, Ali won a split decision. After the second fight, these guys had basically a whole career ahead of them. Howard Cosell, man, he said that Ali was definitely finished after this fight. He said that he should retire, that he's done, that the first fight against Frazier finished him and his career's over. What a dumb statement that was, man. Because Ali would go on to fight Joe Frazier again, to fight George Foreman and win the title back, to fight Ron Lyle, to have the Thriller in Manila, to beat Jimmy Young, another controversial decision. And he had 10 fights before he fought Ken Norton once again in 1976. So Howard Cosell, he should be ashamed of himself for making that idiotic statement that Muhammad Ali was done just because he had 2 tough fights with a really good fighter in Kenny Norton. A great fighter, a Hall of Fame fighter. Man, shame on Howard Cosell. Now, Norton would go on to face George Foreman his very next fight. It's funny how he lost to Muhammad Ali and he gets a title shot, but that's the way boxing works sometimes. And that goes to another fact that we know, that Kenny Norton, unless he had crushing power, he was going to give you trouble. Like pure boxers like Ali and Larry Holmes, he was going to give you a ton of trouble. But fighters like George Foreman, man, like Ernie Schaefer's, they were going to have a much easier time with Ken Norton than the boxers were gonna. So, November 28th, 1976, they have their third encounter, and this encounter is in Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. And this was probably their best fight. And the first 2 fights were between 2 contenders, and Ali was still making his comeback trail to try to win the championship because he hadn't won it yet, and he lost his title shot against Joe Frazier. So he was trying to become that 2-time champion. He was trying to regain that title that he never lost. But now he was champion. He was the undisputed champion. Yep, WBC and WBA champion. And this was probably their best fight, man. This was a really good fight. And they went like their first 2 fights went. Very awkward style by Kenny Norton, giving Muhammad Ali a very tough time. But this fight was 15 rounds. 15 rounds. And there was a clear winner in this for me, and it was Norton. Norton's body attack was spectacular. It was incredible. It was gnarly. He would go two on top and then hit that left hook right to Muhammad Ali's jaw. Ali could do nothing except, clown around and say, you ain't nothing to Kenny Norton. And he tried to intimidate Norton before the fight by walking up to him and just staring him down, giving him a mad dog. But Ken Norton was not intimidated of Muhammad Ali. He was never intimidated, and it showed by this fight. I had it 9-6. A few commentators had it 10-5 also. So actually had it 8-7 because I gave the last round to Ali actually. But I don't see how Ali won this round. This fight. I don't think Ali won the third fight. And both of them left after the fight. Neither of them did the post-fight interview. When Ali doesn't want to talk, that should tell us something. That he thinks he lost. And Ali definitely thought he lost the first fight. But this was an awesome fight, man. Ali, when he was at a distance, he'd throw some beautiful combinations, beautiful uppercuts, beautiful hooks. And that's why he won the rounds that I thought he won. He never hurt Ali. He never hurt Norton. And Norton really never hurt Ali. But Ali just was on the ropes way too much. In all three fights, he was on the ropes. And Ali wasn't able to rope a dope Norton because Norton wasn't a dope. He was a smart fighter. He would go to the body, then hit that uppercut, and it would land. Maybe I'm getting a few of these fights confused, but these fights were so similar. And Norton did a great job. And if anything, Norton's legacy was cemented because of these three fights. That he put up a hell of an effort in these three fights, and he deserved to win the trilogy. He deserved to win the rivalry. At least he got one. At least he got one victory over Ali. But he deserved the rivalry. And most people, I want to say most, but a lot of people think Norton won all three fights. So go ahead and watch this rivalry. Go ahead and watch their trilogy. Even the crowd booed the decision in the third fight. I think the third fight was the clearest. The crowd booed and they both left. Both fighters left. Ken Norton was crying after the fight. But one thing, Ken Norton says that he's never mad at Ali. He was never mad. He never hated the man. And in fact, Ali gave him the opportunity to feed his family, to give them a place to stay. Because before his fight with Ali, he was really having a hard time trying to feed his family and having a place to stay. And that championship opportunity against Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, he wasn't Cassius Clay no more. Against Ali, it gave him that opportunity to have a better life. And when he broke his jaw that first fight, and he was in the hospital, Norton went to visit him, and he said, "Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity." And that's how Ken Norton will remember him, or remembered Ali. And when Ken Norton, he was in a fatal accident. Once he retired, he was in a fatal accident. And Ali went to visit him. And he was in a coma for years. Ken Norton was in a coma for years. And Ali went to visit him when he was in a coma. And he said that meant so much to him. So maybe this isn't the main rivalry that Ali was known for, but it was a hell of a rivalry. And one that Ali, probably his hardest rivalry just because of the style. Not of the effort he put into in the Thriller in Manila or none of that, but just a very awkward style that any day of the week, Ken Norton could beat Ali, but Ali could not beat Norton any day of the week. What do you guys think of of the trilogy. Who do you guys think won? Thanks everybody for watching, and please keep following my Muhammad Ali week.